Namaste and welcome back to BKRtravel, where we are going to be reviewing one of our Airbnbs that we stayed in India. So far, we've already done the Novotel at Aerocity in Delhi, and now we move across to Hauz Khas, which is a very trendy, nifty little neighborhood on the south side of Delhi. And I tell you what, this Airbnb really did surprise me, good and the bad, and I'm looking forward to telling you all about it. If I just move over here, the location of it, as you can see, where it says where I stayed is not quite where it is. It's more so around where this Laughter Nation Comedy Club, that is the area. But Hauz Khas is such a trendy, nifty little neighborhood that it's all very, very close in together and segregated quite a lot from where the rest of, I guess, a lot of what you would traditionally expect India to be is. It's not necessarily just 100% what you would expect. Hauz Khas is completely trendy, very hipster to give it a word, and it's on the south side, just a little bit to the east here of the airport. As you can see over here, the Indira Gandhi International Airport, where we stayed at the Novotel, and you come across here to Hauz Khas, which is just south of New Delhi, where we stay in Connaught Place on the next trip. So look, it's just outside of the real solid main areas where you're going to find the Red Fort, Humayun's tomb, but it's close enough. India Gate obviously up there in New Delhi as well. And what I found is my intention was to stay at the airport Aerocity to have that real soft awakening, then move across into a place that was very much not known as the central district area, so kind of go from slow to medium into the hectic, and that is exactly what I found Hauz Khas to be. If you are looking for a great transitional period into India, that is exactly what I would recommend you to do. Stay at Aerocity a couple nights. I stayed here for 6 nights, and then I moved up towards the main hectic areas. A quick verdict here of the Airbnb, which the links are in the description, is that it's a great location. It's a very transitional location where it will help you to get into India, but there are a couple of deal breakers and negatives that I would say some people won't necessarily like about it as well. It just comes down to what you are looking for. Let me start by telling you it is the Boho House independent apartment with lake view in Hauz Khas, and from the photos you can see it is quite refreshing. It does have great lighting here. Does that necessarily reflect it when you actually get there? Ooh, good question. I think that it's a pretty strong representation. I don't think there is too much of a difference from what you're seeing. I will get into the kitchen in a few moments, which was quite basic, but outside of that, the lighting is like that. It is quite strong. It is quite nice, especially at the night time. Very, very calm. Well, there is a bit of noise around, but it does give a good reflection of what you are going to be receiving inside the room. But a couple of things that I did write down. Let's start with what was done right. The neighborhood itself, like I said, lively, full of cafes and energy. When you would walk outside in the morning, it was quite calm. Not a great deal to do. You do have the Hauz Khas Fort, which is incredible and very historical as well. It's a really cool experience walking around the Hauz Khas Fort, which you can see just over here. It's super close. It's literally like 2-3 minutes of a walk away from it, and you do have also this huge parkland area surrounding. So plenty of things to do, and the restaurants that are there are actually quite good as well. When you walk out in the morning, it is quiet and not much noise going around, not many things open, but it will slowly open throughout the day. But the night time is where it really hits. There is party places, like I said, great restaurants. India loves their rooftops. They love their rooftops, especially in Udaipur, where we go to later. But India loves their rooftops, and I found a nice pizza place down right next door to the Hauz Khas Fort. It's literally the entrance to Hauz Khas Fort. There's a great pizza place up about 4 or 5 flights of stairs, which you will have to get used to in India. There's not always going to be elevators, so you will have to walk pretty much all the time up to the top of these stairs and whatnot. Great neighborhood that you'll have a lot of fun in. The next point, internet was fast and it was stable the whole stay. For mine, I have to have good internet. I'm a content creator on BK Sport and I do live streams, so I need solid internet. Now, there is a couple of reviews here from people saying the internet was quite spotty, so I do need to let you know that. And there is a couple of reviews from people saying the internet was not good, but for mine, it was very fast and it was very stable. I know we had a problem in the first maybe 20-30 minutes, but Himanshu, the host, was able to rectify that very, very quickly, and we got it going. So whilst other people that you'll see on the reviews might have a different opinion, my personal experience, I did have really strong internet. And to add on to that, as I just said, the host, Himanshu, replied quickly and was genuinely helpful. And he actually owns the Gypsy Cafe, which I've got in my next point as well. Cafe downstairs, run by the same owner, which is Himanshu. Chill, hippie vibe, good food, easy to escape to. It really was enjoyable. So Himanshu was very quick to communicate. It was very easy to communicate with, and obviously when you are a new traveler and a solo traveler, you do get nervous about the language barrier between English and Hindi, but Himanshu was great and did also let me know about the cafe that was downstairs. That was a really cool vibe, and it was straight up hippie, man. It was straight up hippie. I couldn't tell you enough about how quality it was. The atmosphere was awesome. They definitely loved to party, which we'll speak about in a second, and there was some great food and drink options there. So that was a massive positive, that it was a part of the apartment area where you had to walk past the Gypsy Cafe to go up the stairs to go to your room, so you have it right easy access as you're walking in. So Himanshu, fantastic to communicate with, and also the cafe that is owned by Himanshu was fantastic atmosphere. Moving on to the next part, which is a very key part, is that in Delhi, it can be quite easy to feel unnerved or feel like you're not in the safest of situations, especially with all the dark alleyways and alleyways in general. And obviously your misconceptions or your thoughts going into India as a whole. But I wrote down here that despite first impressions, I did feel safe once I understood Delhi a bit more. And I did. I was very much overwhelmed when I first got here from the Novotel, and it was a difficult process to kind of push yourself into it all and just dive right into it. But once I understood how the rhythm and flow of it all goes, I did feel quite safe. And then finally, the bed, despite also a couple of reviews here from people, I found quite comfortable. Now, I do think this might be a bit of a different bed than what I had. Maybe that actually looks more like it. Maybe that's just a different color. I actually found it okay. Some people saying he needs a bed upgrade. I can understand where you're coming from. It can be a bit creaky, but overall, I found it quite comfortable as well. So maybe things have just changed since I was there back in March, but overall, I found the bed quite comfortable. So overall, I would say that this apartment is quite a soft, gentle entry into India, and it definitely does have its positives alongside its negatives. Now let's get into some of these cons that I did find, unfortunately. The things you really do need to know is that there is a balcony here. Oh, that's not the balcony. There is a balcony, as you can see just outside there. There is a photo here which has the view. But I do find that I found it quite tiny and a bit pointless in a lot of ways. The trees take away a lot of the view. You can see, I guess, part of the Hauz Khas fort there, but they're just really wasn't anything spectacular about it. I don't even think there was a chair to sit down, and I probably wouldn't have anyway because there's mosquitoes. It's right next to the lake area that is, look, the lake doesn't look fantastic. I wonder if there is a photo here. It's green, as you can see there. The lake is green and filthy, so that is something to, there you go. It's quite filthy. So that is Hauz Khas, but this is what you're going to get, alright? So don't read too much into that. But overall, I did find the balcony was relatively pointless, and there wasn't anything there to make it comfortable out on the balcony. I also said that the entry is down a dark alley. Extremely sketchy first impression. When you first come to India and you have to walk down these dark alleyways, it is going to confront you. You are going to feel quite confronted by it. When you come into Hauz Khas, a lot of the time you'll actually find the best places are down these alleyways, but coming from a country like Australia, we're taught don't walk down a dark alleyway. But in India, you have to do it, and specifically here, you have to. So as you're walking down this dark alleyway, and I mean like it is dark and very confronting, once you get down it, you'll understand it's not too bad. And once you get used to it, you'll understand it's not too bad, but it is very confronting to start off with. It is very confronting. So that is a con, but it ends up being okay. At first it's a con, and then it ends up being okay. I feel like female solo travelers might find this a little bit more difficult of a hurdle to overcome, comparatively to, say, myself, who, whilst I don't want to go down a dark alleyway, I know I can protect myself, whilst a lot of female solo travelers might feel very unnerved by walking down this alleyway. But again, please don't be overwhelmed on a confronting level on a long-term basis, because it is safe. The alleyway is completely fine. Moving on now to the bathroom, which I found quite basic, quite tiny, and I don't actually think that shower handle was there when I was there, to be fair. I'm pretty certain it was just one of the, holding ones where you wash yourself with. Look, I thought it was quite basic. I do like the wooden touch there with the sink, but overall, it wasn't anything to write home about. You also do have to walk up a bunch of stairs to get here. Like I said, in India, you're going to find there's not really elevators and whatnot, so you do need to understand that you will have to walk up 3 or 4 flights of stairs with your bags, and I wasn't helped with that. I didn't need help with that, but just for other people. Now, it does get loud at night. It does. It gets loud at night. Music was quite literally inside the building. As I said with the Gypsy Cafe, whilst it's entertaining and whilst it's really great, there was one specific night. The place was a mess. Obviously, they cleaned it up very, very well, but the noise went into the night, which is why I find it quite funny here, where I look at the quiet period, the quiet hours of 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. is quite hilarious. It's quite funny. Now, I don't care personally about noise. I am quite loud myself during regular hours, but I don't really care too much about noise. I actually enjoy the noise more often than not. I really do. But for people who are light sleepers, yeah, it does get loud at night. And also, the ceiling fan is quite loud. So it works well. It's quite strong, but the ceiling fan is quite loud. Another big negative here that I found, but this is a positive for you. Not for necessarily for me, but a positive for you. We go down here, and the price for 6 nights is $356.39. The price that I paid was $511.72. This is Australian dollars. So that is about $160 switch up from what I paid for when I was there. Now that's a con, because at the end of the day, I didn't mind this place. I enjoyed it. But to see such a drastic difference, I did feel like it was relatively overpriced at the time, but I could understand why it was at that level because of the location and whatnot. But that is a pretty significant price drop. So if you are enjoying this review and you do feel like the need to stay here, well, guess what? It's a lot cheaper now for you than it was for me. And that's even discounted here. As you can see here, it usually it's $389 apparently, and $356 is what it is now. So that's a con for me that I paid quite a bit more, but at least now you've got a better value option. And then I will also say that the kitchen was weak. So if you plan to cook, I would not suggest staying here. I don't feel like you need to, though. I don't feel like you need to cook because there's so many restaurants and so many things to eat, and you're not there to cook yourself, really. You are there to experience the Indian food and the Indian culture. So I don't feel like you'd need to use this too much. It is there, but it wasn't anything spectacular. Biggest key takeaway there is that one morning I did wake up and it was very, very clear they'd had a massive party that night, which I heard into all hours of the morning. And if you're a light sleeper, good luck, is what I would say. Personal takeaway that I would bring from all of this, including the pros and the cons, is that the dark alleyway is not as bad as you do find. And this can be a bit of a trap in the sense that don't just go down any dark alleyway. Please know where you are still going, and please know what area you are in. So I'm not telling you please just walk down any dark alleyway in India. But what I did have here is that the best experiences are kind of hidden places, and walking down these little nooks and crannies where you'll find a great coffee shop, or you'll find some great food, or you'll find the Gypsy Cafe. Specifically in regards to the Airbnb here, you'll find the Gypsy Cafe, which is, I'm going to get this, take it off the kitchen here. You'll find the Gypsy Cafe, which is really intriguing, really fun, lively, and an enjoyable experience. But unless you walk down this dark alleyway, you're never going to find it. So this really woke me up and actually was a great foundation for the rest of my trip in India, that don't just judge a book by its cover and think, that looks scary, I'm not going down it. Again, don't just walk down any dark alleyway for obvious reasons. But it opens your perspective, be like, oh, okay, I'm actually going to go down there and I might have a great time, great experience. Just know what you're doing. Know where you are. Ultimately, you kind of just have to let go of your Western instincts and go with the flow. That's what I found. So this place is perfect for you if you want the Hauz Khas nightlife and social vibe. You're only staying a night or two. I do feel like 6 nights was a bit long, but then again, I am quite a long traveler. I stay for long periods of time. I find it 2-3 nights isn't for me usually, but the point is that this place is pretty good for 1 or 2 nights. You don't need hotel level comfort. Again, it's a nice place and it does the job, and you do have that park, and there is actually like a public gym in that park as well, which is free. But if you don't need hotel level comfort, this is great. And then also you want a youthful first impression of Delhi, because it is quite young, trendy, hipster neighborhood. But it is not a good choice if you need a quiet night, are staying a full week, expect modern bathroom and kitchen standards, and then hate the idea of climbing stairs repeatedly. but you are in India, so you are going to have to climb stairs quite repeatedly anyway. Please don't go to India, unless you're on that 5-star route, don't go to India with the expectation of there being an elevator everywhere. If you want comfort and quiet, then I definitely would recommend more so the Novotel in Aero City, like I said, which is on a much more expensive value, or in Connaught Place, where we stayed in a couple of hotels there, being the Park and Lalit, which is our next couple of reviews that we're going to be getting into. But if you want that more specific, quiet and comfortable experience with the ability to go out and do things, then yeah, you are looking more towards Connaught Place with our next reviews. But if you're more so looking just to be in India and comfort and quiet, then you would look at the Novotel. But if you are young, you are ready to have a bit of fun, you are ready to party, but also have a bit of historical, cultural value of the Hauz Khas Fort and Hauz Khas in general, well, there you go. This is the place for you. One final thing I will say, and this kind of goes against what I said with the dark alleyways, but it's not the same. There is an area in Hauz Khas. I don't even know how to explain it here. Let me see on the map. Okay, so, yes, I know where it is. So we stayed here, like I said, around where that Burger Hauz Khas Social, actually where the Hauz Khas Social is where your room is. Move down here, and you can see this pathway. This pathway, which goes off into the forest down by like a little river there, okay? My suggestion to you is do not walk down that. My suggestion is do not walk down that because, not that it's dangerous, it's not dangerous. I had possibly the worst smell I've ever experienced. This is completely sidetracked, but down this pathway, don't walk down it. I walked a good couple of 100 meters and then it just completely whacked me for 6. And Indians out there who love their cricket, and obviously Australians will understand that terminology, but it whacked me for 6. That is not a good path to go down because I'm sure there is just sewage down there. I didn't get far enough to actually, I didn't want to look what the smell was, but it was rancid. So that's my biggest suggestion. Don't go down there, but stay in this area here because there is plenty to do in that area. Okay, and then you've also got the actual park. You've got a big park here. Don't go down there. So that's just a little bit of a separator. The area is fantastic. I just feel like at the reduced price, maybe it's a bit better. At the price that I paid, then no, I would stay somewhere else. So that's my thoughts. My question to you is, have you stayed in Hauz Khas before, or have you stayed in an Airbnb in Hauz Khas Fort? Have you stayed here before? I want you to comment below and let me know if it was a great experience, where you would suggest, or what you thought based off of your stay in India with an Airbnb. Tell me in the comment section. I'm looking forward to it. But guys, I appreciate you. I'll see you on the next video. Hit that subscribe button if this is your kind of content. Smash that thumbs up button, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya.